What's going on, guys? Episode 2, Knights of the Round Records, VillosaurusWrex here, again with my boy Eric and Charles. What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
What's going on, everybody?
All right, so first off, we want to get it started off. Just a quick moment of silence for Vegas right now. We were talking about this earlier, and music really brings people together. And unfortunately, what happened out there was during a music festival. So just a brief moment of silence for those who went through what they went through in Vegas. All right, guys. We're not going to try and leave this podcast on a sad note. We're going to have fun as normal and talk music the way we want to. This week, we are talking the College Dropout by Kanye West, and we're also going to be talking about Aunt Illa, who is actually here with us today. What's going on, Aunt?
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
We also have another night fresh to the table, Rudy Dominguez, a.k.a. Pooh. Rudy, tell him what's up.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Rudy, or as some of my friends call me, Pooh. Y'all don't have to go by that, but if y'all want, you can go ahead. But yeah, I'm here joining for the first time, and looking forward to having some good hip-hop talk.
So when we first talked about Knights of the Round Records, I told y'all about this last week. I had a few hands in mind, and Rudy was one of them. And it's just one of the things we always talk. Me and Rudy talk sports, we talk politics, we talk music. You know, we have a good time. And I've known Rudy for a long time, and so bringing him on was to me a good decision. So Rudy, tell me about you and hip hop. You know, think about the first time you listened to hip hop. You know, what may have been the first artist, track, or anything that you could remember, and how far it went back.
Actually, I think the earliest song that I can remember might have been when I was maybe 8 years old. And at this point in time, I mean, I was, it's already 2000 by that time.
Yeah.
I was born in 92. And the first song the earliest I can remember of hip hop was Tupac's Hail Mary, which is weird for an 8-year-old to listen to. You know, it's like not something an 8-year-old should be listening to, but that's probably the first song that I heard.
You got little Rudy running around the house. Hail Mary, nigga, run with me.
Exactly.
Hey, at least it was the radio edit.
No, it wasn't the radio edit. My cousin actually had the CD and played it, and I heard every single thing that was going on.
Why is it always cousins that get you into the fucked up shit?
See, that was me. My cousins, like I said last week, started me with Bone Thugs, and I had the cassette and put it in the thing, and my mom still, what the fuck are you listening to? So tell me, Pooh, off the top of your head, you know, what'd you listen to on the way here?
On the way here, I was listening to Nav. I don't know how many people know about Nav, but he's actually, I don't know, it's just something about his sound that I always just feel comfortable listening to when I'm driving. I mean, it's not like my everyday thing, but that's what I was listening to on the way over here.
Absolutely.
It's the album he made with Metro Boomin.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty good one.
Cool, man, cool. And so if you had to put your top 5 out there, who would your top 5 be in no particular order?
You're talking artists,
groups, because we went
all
left
over.
field last week.
Hip-hop.
artists, hip hop artists. Okay, I know off the top I can put J. Cole and Kanye up there. Again, in no personal order. This is how I'm going about it. Most recently, Brother Ali. I like you know the way he goes about it. His music, his tone, everything that goes through. And I'm gonna go again with stuff that I've been listening to a lot lately. So Gucci and Future would be the top 5. Again, it's not all time, but what I listen to a lot, and you know, constantly what I can jam all the time. I mean, I'm gonna go with that top.
See, and those are the choices that I made last week, as y'all heard. Mine were still based off of, you know, what can I go back to joining? You know, I went back and listened to it. Heard some friends tell me, Big Sean, really, like, that's one of your top 5s. It's like, well, that's one of my go-tos. Like I said, Finally Famous Volume 3, like that's a go-to. Yeah. You know, like you can hear it. You know, but then again, we also didn't talk the other top 5 that I asked y'all to talk. You know, so we're gonna go around the table and talk that real quick. Personally, you know, looking back on who I could add, definitely The Game. You know, you listen to anything from documentary to Jesus Piece to everything. You know, just the Game in general is is just a hip hop artist that is really, really looked over these days. You know, whether it be in production or whether it be in his lyric, his delivery. I mean,
Mac can spit.
Exactly.
Mac can spit.
Exactly. So Eric, I want you to give me one more person that you would add to that top.
Well, you know, I would definitely have to add Kanye into mine. I didn't even think about putting him in there just because I was trying to think of like all time. But definitely would add Kanye into that to make a top 6. He's probably one of the greatest of this generation.
Absolutely.
For sure. So he's definitely in mine.
And Charles.
Let's go back to Jay-Z.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
OG, man. That's a guy keeping it with the. I mean, Kanye was kind of my number 1 last week, so, and I specified why I didn't put Hove up there, and if I had to add another one, he would kind of start, Kanye would kind of finish for me, so that'd be like my in
Staying
top.
with the Rock. Staying with the Rock.
Basically.
Home is home, baby.
Home is home, baby. I can't do the Jay-Z impression. Who can do a good Jay-Z impression?
I cannot.
I can't do it off the.
I cannot.
So like I said, we have Aunt Illa here in the building. Aunt, what's your musical inspirations, man? I don't know if y'all went and clicked anything, the links and where we told you to look for him, SoundCloud, YouTube, and whatnot. But he's got some music out there. He was on Corpus Christi 361 recent Mic Pass, and if you listen to him, he sounds like a Texas rapper, man. And that's what it is. So, Aunt, your musical influences, brother.
Well, my cousin back in the day, we used to freestyle a lot. We had when we first started smoking weed, actually, no one could find out about us. We used to smoke inside his closet. And he hung a small little mic inside of there, and we used to go in there and act like we were having freestyle sessions and stuff like that. And I was about 12 years old, and I grew kind of fond to it. I feel like I could make some worms rhyme and put stuff together, make it happen. And so through that, I started rapping a little bit. I didn't want to be a rapper, First off, I'm into sports a lot. Sports is really a big thing in my life. Basketball, that was my favorite sport. I really wanted to play basketball. I was pretty good at it actually too, but once I got to high school, I couldn't keep my grades up to pass, you know what I mean? And
I think that was probably all our problem, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
No
so
doubt.
Grades, not being there.
all I ever wanted to do was make a lot of money, help my family out, so I try to think of another way I could become, wealthy, you know what I mean? And music always been a big part of my life, and like I said, I felt like I could rap pretty good, so once I got to high school, that's when I really, put my mind to it and felt like I could really do something with it, and yeah, ever since then I've been at it.
And when he says music's a big part of his life, I'm looking across the table right now and I see a tattoo of Selena, a UGK tattoo of Pimp C,
Yes,
and then I see Aunt Zilla up there on his arm with some musical notes and stuff like that. So when this guy says music's a huge part of his life, I mean, it's on his body forever, man.
Absolutely.
And
He's literally been doing it, from a young age. 'Cause, I mean, I first moved over to Corpus to Hamlin in 8th grade. We both went to school with each other, and literally in class, out of class, always spitting something. Always just making beats on the desk with the pen and everything like that.
Absolutely.
Always doing that.
Well, see,
it didn't stop. It just kept going all the way through high
with
school.
me, when I hear Corpus rappers, there's 2 names that I've always heard that always came up. That's Michael White, and I've heard Aunt Zilla. Those are the 2 names that are synonymous with Corpus rapping. Now, not to knock Flatline, rest in peace, but when you talk about those 2 currently, I mean, you have thousands of views on freestyle videos to your personal Facebook page, not a fan page, not a YouTube channel, nothing like this. Is your personal Facebook page. You have thousands of views, hundreds of shares, thousands of likes. I mean, how does that make you feel just as a local rapper, man?
It's super humbling, man, to know that people actually want to listen to my music and they ask for my music and they anticipate it coming out. That's a feeling. It's hard to explain, man. It's great. I love it, and it's one of the main reasons why I do it. It makes someone feel good to know you're wanted. You know what I mean? People want to hear your voice. They like your craft, and all the time you put into it is paying off. And stuff like that. Yeah, I love that. I love all the feedback. It really keeps me going. I appreciate all that, all the support, all the shares, the likes, the comments. It means a lot to me. It keeps me going every day. I appreciate y'all very much for that.
Because, it takes a lot for somebody to hit that fucking like button.
Yeah, it really does.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially here.
It really takes a lot. And there's a lot of fucking haters
Like,
in this town.
usually it has to be something that makes you laugh or makes you angry. But when it's something you like whether it's music or just like whatever, like someone talking about a vlog or anything, most people just skip past it. They're just gonna, all right, I'm just scroll past it. I mean, it takes a lot to like it and also share it across.
That's true. That is
And that's why you hear when I said the difference between he's got thousands of views and hundreds of likes, because it's like you said, it people will watch it all day. Oh, hey, that was badass, cool. Keep scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey,
give me my recognition.
It
I'm not
takes a
expecting it, but if you like it, show your appreciation. And that's one thing that I think people have a hard time doing. Not because they don't want to do it, it's because they don't care to do it, or they just simply forget.
And I feel like, people think it's not possible for music like that to come out of this city. People think about Corpus, they're real small-minded about it, you know what I mean? They don't think you can create something big out of here, which is not true at all. You can do anything, anywhere you're at, you know what I'm saying? And so I think when people hear my music, they're kind of freaked out that I'm from Corpus, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, wow, this guy's from here. Like, oh yeah, I think that's a big reason why they share it, why they like it. It's like, wow, this guy's from the same city as I am, and he's spitting like these rappers on the radio or like that, and I think that's people like my music because of that, reasons like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a handful of famous people that have ended up coming out of here. Of course, you got your Super Bowl champion playing in local high school here.
Yep.
You got
Shout out
Selena.
Clint.
You got Eva Longoria. So
Absolutely.
She could still have my
It's
babies.
possible.
It's not outside the realm of possibility for a rapper to come out of Corpus.
Exactly.
And people just kind of seem to think that that's the case, and it's just not.
Not at all, they're not used to it, really what it is. Like you said, there hasn't been a lot of rappers that come out of the city. Really one that anybody, there's not one name that everybody knows really, and that's what I want to change. We don't have a Zero here, a Trey here like Houston does, stuff like that, and I think that's what we need, someone that everybody, and you can talk about rapping, there'll be one name that the city knows, and we need something like that, and that's what I'm pushing to get to.
We need somebody to put the city on their back.
Absolutely.
Just take over for them.
If anybody's been doing it, it's been Ant.
It's been
Absolutely.
Aunt Illa.
And that's something we want to talk about too. Okay, so you have this huge following under the name Aunt Zilla, and we see this Corpus mic pass with the name Aunt Illa. What reason for the name change?
Okay, well, I came up with Aunt Zilla. I was in middle school, I believe, and I was about 11, 12 years old, and it sounded real cool at the time, and I loved it. It went along with me. I'm a big dude, so everybody kind of went with it, and maybe about 5 years ago, I have a friend named Josh Pantoja. Shout out Josh, man. He's a big hip hop head as well. We were talking about rap one day, and he was like, "Hey, man, you ever thought about changing your name?" And I was like, "Nah, not really, bro." And he was like, "I always thought Aunt Illa sounds pretty cool, man." And it always stuck in my head. At first I was like that was, I didn't want to change it because of that reason. Everybody knows me as Aunt Zilla, but at the same time, as I grew older, I felt like it was time for a change. Aunt Zilla, it was cool, but it sounds like a kid made that up. You know what I mean? And Aunt Illa is more, I think it's more right for this time and age and what I'm about to do and the new dedication I have to this music. I feel like it was time for a change, and that's why I went with that.
That's good, man. That's good. When I first saw it, my first thing was, man, he dropped the Z because people are sleeping on him or something.
There's
So,
actually
hey, you can use that line if you haven't already.
There's actually a verse that I recorded. It's for a 361. It's called the 361 Hidden Gem Mic Pass, and I recorded that verse about 2 weeks ago. And I actually used that line in there, and they went nuts when they heard it.
Great minds think alike.
Absolutely.
So, quick question: how hard has it been to adjust, or how hard has it been for people to adjust from Zilla to Illa?
Actually, I've gotten a couple of people that messaged me and they asked me why I did it. Some of them didn't like it. They felt I came a long way with Aunt Zilla. I should have stuck to that, and I respect that. But at the same time, like I said, I feel like I have a whole new dedication to this music, a whole new feeling to it, and I think Aunt Illa, it fits more right with me, And it's been hard to adjust a little bit because when I'm freestyling and stuff, I'll still say Zilla. Yeah. But
you've been doing it so long.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's hard to get that out of your vernacular.
And I don't mind when people still call me Zilla. That's always going to be a nickname that sticks with me. I have no problem with that at all. It's just when it comes to my music, it's going to come out as Aunt Illa. At the end of the day, I feel like Aunt Illa. You can name any rapper, but Aunt Illa. Aunt Illa than that. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where I'm going with it.
Awesome. So, listen to your music. You have some music on SoundCloud. You have a couple songs, some features on YouTube. Tell me, who is? And now let's slow this down real quick before I even ask this question. Not to knock anybody you worked with. Who was the most dedicated person you've worked with? Someone who, when you went into the studio and you worked with them, they were on the same level as you as dedication when they're spitting behind that mic.
I'm gonna have to go with the man named C-Web. Shout out to the homie C-Web, Chris Amador. He shoots videos now, 4K visuals, franchise boys, and he can actually rap. I don't know why he stopped rapping. Maybe he still raps, but the dude can spit, and he's been doing this since we were young too. I remember going to teen nights at City Skates and him getting on the mic and doing freestyle.
Wow, you're really taking it back.
Stuff like
Really going back.
Those of y'all in Corpus, we're not showing our age right now.
That's back
Yeah,
99, 98, 2000 type stuff like that. And I remember him going on there and spitting freestyles. And since I was young, I heard him rap. And the first time I got into the studio with him, he wasn't even supposed to record with me. Actually, I was going over there to record. And he heard me spit, and I guess it got him real hype. And after that, he was like, "Hey, can I jump on this, man?" And I was like, "Hey, go ahead, bro." He hopped in there within 3 minutes. He had a whole verse, and I was amazed by it. I've never worked with somebody in the city like that. I've worked with people from out of town, but from the city, I saw that. I was amazed by it, and it motivated me, because I didn't know there was someone out there like that, and stuff like that. It makes you want to get better, be on levels like him. But like
Absolutely.
I said, he shoots videos now, but maybe we can get him back to start rapping again. I'm probably gonna get him on a couple of tracks because he's actually on my SoundCloud. The Stay Eating, where we covered the Stay Scheming beat. He's actually on that one. He's the second verse if y'all want to listen to that.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because your SoundCloud is Antzilla EGM.
Yes, I need to change that actually.
So if you're looking for his music, it's Antzilla EGM as of this recording.
Soon to be Ant Illa.
It will soon be Antzilla EGM. Eat Greedy Mafia.
Eat Greedy Militia. Eat Greedy Militia. I have a cousin-in-law actually. His name is Rashad. I've been on him since I was young. He was always like a big brother to me. He's kind of the one who put me on hip hop and. Since I was young, we used to rap too, and he used to always say, "Man, hey man, we got to start a little group, man, to Eat Greedy Militia." And at first, when I heard it sounded crazy to me, you know what I mean? And it's like, nah, man, that's the attitude you gotta have, man. You gotta always want more than everybody else, man. Eat greedy, and you don't want to be a gang. You're not part of a team. You're a militant. You're like a soldier. You're in the army. You know what I mean? Eat Greedy Militia. I stuck with that, and I like it, and so I'm hoping that's the name that can blow up with me, and we can keep that movement going. I want to get some merchandise out there, some shirts, some hats, and stuff like that, and put it out soon so we can get the little movement up, you know what I mean?
So how many in Eat Greedy?
Actually, as of rappers, it's just myself.
Okay.
As far as a team, I have a bunch of people behind me that I work with. But as far as rappers, it's just myself. I want to actually find more rappers that, want to come in and get down with the movement, and that's always open. Anybody thinks they can do it, get at me. Hey, let's see what you got. Maybe we can do something.
There you go, guys. You heard that. There's your offer on the table. You want to do something big in Corpus? Illa's right here to do it with you.
Let's get it.
So
Hit the DMs, guys.
there you go.
Slide right in.
Slide in there. The big metal slide gets you right in the thing. So back to the music again. You've recorded with a lot of people in Corpus. We've seen that. Any big names you've recorded with? Any big names you could talk about right now?
Okay. Well, there's a rapper out of he's actually signed to rap a lot. His name is Tezo, and how I got involved with him, I have a cousin that lives in Houston. He's actually my little cousin, but he's probably done more in his lifetime than I'll ever do in 3 lifetimes. Honestly, he's a little crazy guy, but yeah, he met this guy somehow. They did some type of work together, and I was actually working in Rockport at the time doing tile, and my cousin gives me a call, and he's like, "Hey man, I met this guy he's with rap a lot, he got access to the studio. I want you to come out here and meet him." And my cousin, I know he's always on some type of scheme and stuff, so I kind of didn't believe him at first, so I was like, all right, yeah, whatever. I kind of blew it off. He called me the next day and was asking, like, "You gonna make it down here?" Well, like, I want you to show this guy some of your music, man, get you in here. And again, I kind of blew it off because, like I said, sometimes I don't believe my cousin. We go way back, and I know how he is. Next day, he hit me up. He's like, "Yo, man, just send me some music. If you ain't gonna come, just send me something so we can hear it." I shot him some of my music off my SoundCloud, and he hit me back like, "Hey, bro, this dude likes you. He wants you to come to the studio. He wants you to show you it. He wants you to record in here." I heard that, and I was like, wow. So I made it down there. I met the guy. His name is Tezo. And it was actually during the time of South by Southwest, so the studio was kind of empty. There wasn't a lot of people there. It was actually just him. And he was telling me the studios were locked. He couldn't show me around too much. And I was like, oh, that's fine. And my cousin told me, why don't you rap for him right now? So I spit a little verse, and after I spit that verse, it kind of got quiet a little bit. And he's like, you know what? I think I got the key. I can show you these studios. And after that, he showed me the studios. And from then, I met a lot of people from in that studio. Steve Francis, former basketball player, he actually has a record label. And he's in that Rap A Lot studio a lot. I met him, I rapped in front of him. He had a guy with him by the name of Black Indian. Shout out to that homie. He's out in Washington, D.C. He was his A&R at the moment. He heard my music and he fell in love with it. And he still calls me to this day. He called me during Hurricane Harvey to check up on me and my family and stuff like that. He wants to get me out in D.C. so we can work out there. He's actually shared my music in D.C. He told me when he first showed him my video, they thought I was Middle Eastern. They saw my beard and stuff. They thought I was maybe from Iraq or something. He told them I was Mexican from Texas. He said they lost their minds. They're not used to stuff like that, you know. And so
we're not with the racial profiling here.
No, not at all, not at all. But yeah, if you see my tone and you see my beard, you might think I'm Middle Eastern as well if you don't know me. But yeah, I've met him. I met Tezo. I've met a guy named Black Indian. I've met producers out of Atlanta. I actually met the producer who co-produced the International Players Anthem beat with Juicy J.
See, that's the only anthem that we need to be standing
Absolutely.
For right now.
I met him. I showed him my music.
Who kneels for that?
Yeah,
absolutely.
You kneel for that. You go ahead and block us right now.
And so, and from there, I'm trying to get more contacts in. I got a lot of contacts to big names. You know, it's just a matter of setting things up and, you know, getting everything right to record songs with them. But yeah, I'm making my way up.
So, in an artist perspective, who is a dream artist to work with and a dream producer to work with?
Ooh, that's a great question. Dream producer, Kanye, absolutely.
Glad you picked Kanye as a producer, not an artist.
Absolute producer, genius.
Told you. Anyone who's listening, we've got reaffirmation.
Absolute genius. As far as artist, wow. I'm gonna have to go with. I want to work with Action Bronson, man.
With Bam Bam.
Bass. Hey, did you hear that?
I think that would be pretty fun. You know, that guy, he's a lyrical monster. His metaphors, his symbols, everything is just unbelievable. His ideas, the way he works his videos, it's all amazing. I would love to do that. I think a track with Kanye and Bronson will be absolutely insane.
So
when you listen to Bronson's music, I'll be driving. And you hear his music, you hear some of the shit he says. It's just crazy. It catches you off guard. I was like, did he really just say that? I'll have to rewind it back just to okay, he really did just.
So y'all need to share the hell out of this so we can get this into Bronson's people's hands and Kanye's people's hands, so we can have an Ant Illa track featuring Action Bronson, produced by Kanye West, to just knock this man's dreams out all at once. All right.
I just want to say one thing: Action Bronson's vocabulary, outstanding,
out of this world,
outstanding.
From a dude who is a cook.
Yep.
Is a chef. Like how did that happen?
Did he get an English degree?
He must have.
I think he just read the dictionary a couple times.
Yeah, he's running through the thesaurus a bunch. Definitely.
That all goes back. I think that all goes back to the New York culture. I feel like if you put a 10-year-old kid from Texas next to a 10-year-old kid from New York. 10-year-old kid from New York is gonna school them on so many levels.
Oh yeah,
Texas, they sound like cowboys.
You gotta, they live fast in New York, so they kind of gotta grow up fast, and that's why I love the New York culture. I feel like they're kind of ahead of everything, and I enjoy it a lot.
I think we ride horses here.
They do. We got.
When they hear us talk compared to their talk, I mean, there's a big difference in that. I mean,
and they think we got the accent.
Yeah.
And as y'all can hear, not everything here is y'all, and
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of y'alls in here.
There's a lot of y'alls in here.
No howdies.
I would never say you all.
I'm not gonna tip my cap to you.
None of us are wearing 10-gallon hats. They're flat bills in the building. So
I'm gonna say this: if you say howdy, you corny. Super corny. You are corny.
And if you say you want to go ride horses, I'll say bye.
We don't
just go do it.
We ride slabs in Texas now.
There we
If they
go.
only knew how much Spanish is down here, rather than cowboys, it's just crazy.
All right, so we're gonna switch it up a little bit. Ant, thank you for coming by and talking with
Absolutely.
us, man.
Thank you for having me.
Don't think he's leaving. He's going to be here for the rest of the show. We're going to keep talking music the rest of the show. So real quick, we want to talk about upcoming albums, tracks, mixtapes, what's coming up. What are you anticipating this month, Eric? Mixtapes, albums, what are you waiting on?
Actually, Currency, one of my favorite rappers, just dropped a mixtape with Lex Luger.
Wow.
So I actually just downloaded that
Currency.
while we've been sitting here.
Currency stays working, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of mixtapes coming out. There's also a lot of stuff that's unreleased, no kind of release date for it just yet. But right now, I'm just going to be really listening to that new Currency tape. Also, Dame Dollar, I know it's not a mixtape, but he's coming out Friday.
I had no idea.
Oh, no,
Sick.
that's right.
Yeah,
Ready
with
for that.
I remember
a
seeing
track
that.
or mixtape?
No, album.
Wow.
It's
Confirmed,
confirmed,
right?
It's confirmed.
Streaming on
Does he
everything.
have features on there?
Yeah, I think every song has a feature, but
That's
I
amazing.
don't mind it at all.
Dame Dollar, yeah. Shout out Damian Lillard.
Damian Lillard.
That dude's something else, man. Like,
He can ball heads.
Very hard working
Absolutely.
basketball player and rapper.
Absolutely.
And definitely not corny. Just not corny at all.
No, that's
He's not
real right
like-
there.
October
Straight outta Oakland.
13th, though. We all know. We all know, Mr. Burr,
It's just
Mr. 1017 himself.
Shout
Mr.
out.
Davis.
Mr. Zone 6.
The East Atlanta Santa, that's right.
Drop top
October.
goes up. Another one.
Yeah,
Another
it's-
one.
God,
Goo
it's
Wop.
Hardest working man.
The hardest working man in hip hop is dropping an album here next Friday,
Wow.
Friday the 13th.
Mr. Davis.
It's
October,
Ready.
man.
you know, as many as he drops a year, I still get excited for it, man.
How many?
Like,
He's been out of jail for what? About a little over a year now, I think.
And he dropped all
He's,
that.
already, he's got 5 already,
Yeah.
I think.
what did he say in Drop Top Was Up? He said, he got out September and I booked up to May.
Yep.
Like damn, like he ain't lying about
Yeah,
that.
that's no
Yeah.
lie.
You know?
He dropped a video for I want to say like 3 weeks in a row. A new video, new song, mixtapes, albums came out.
He had
like,
fresh out the feds. He was
that
fresh
day.
out the feds.
That
Like,
day, I think.
I think he did a music video. You know, like just
in his house,
like that.
with
Yeah.
the bracelet on, it was there.
And
So-
he's doing all of this sober.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sober.
Yes, the clone of Gucci Man is doing great these days.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's gonna come get you now.
So yeah, we were eating pizza earlier, and I was looking at stuff on Twitter, and this dude posted. Gucci Man said something about how he's doing it, and he's doing it good these days, and the dude put like that sounds like something a clone would say,
God.
and Gucci Man blocked the dude on Twitter.
Holy shit! Okay.
It's real out here.
Yeah.
So since the last time we spoke, people, there's been a whole lot of music that's dropped when it comes to singles and stuff like that. Just to name a few, you've had Lil Yachty and Young Thug drop a track called "On Me" together. You've had where's it at? Where did I see it? There you go. Big Crit and
Confetti.
highly anticipated Confetti. Like,
Been waiting for this for a very.
when was the
long
last time y'all heard from Crit? Like,
Oh man.
It was a mixtape. It was
The 12 for 12?
I think it was 12 for 12. No, you know what? I think it's Better This Way came after that. But
Did it?
You know what? I could be wrong, but
I'm not too sure either,
definitely
actually.
heard 12 for 12.
It's been a while, though.
Listened to that one quite a bit.
we had the LA Leakers featuring Wale and AD with the song FaceTime that came out this past week. Young Thug and Post Malone, Been Getting Racks. Tory Lanez, Skirt Skirt, Smoke Perp, Travis Scott. They dropped one together called Fingers Blue. Kodak Black dropped something. Young Dro, another person we hadn't heard from in a bit,
Young Dro.
dropped something.
Where's he been?
That's a good question. He's with his Rubber Band Banks. That's
Straight up.
it. That's what he's been doing. So.
Stacking.
Kid Red dropped something with Chris Brown, Takeoff, and Quavo. Asher Roth, that's a dude we haven't heard from forever. And if you follow us on Facebook, you saw us post that earlier. There's a freestyle. Damn, like,
I don't know.
once again, when we talk, we're not talking about race or anything, but for the white boy who wrote I Love College, for him to be dropping the freestyles he's dropped, the albums, the mixtapes and things he's dropped that are still relevant to hip hop and rap, you can't tell me that he's not a staple in this.
All City Chess Club, very
Versatile.
highly
All City Chess.
underrated team.
And then today we had just a couple of good tracks been dropped. Cap G dropped Slumped, and Hood Rich Pablo came out with a track with the Migos called Do What I Want to Do. So that's just what's coming out these days, folks. Some stuff's coming up this month. We're fingers crossing we're going to hear something from Kanye and Kid Cudi sometime this year.
Sometime this year. It was supposed to be a little earlier.
But see, it's to be the same thing, and I'm bringing up Kanye because we're about to talk about College Dropout. I was told, and from what I read from credible sources online, that we were going to get Cruel Winter in February of this year, and we're October.
That didn't happen.
So we haven't got it.
But you know what?
But he's in the hills of Montana right now. Wyoming. Yeah. There we go.
In typical Kanye fashion, the more he keeps doing that, the more I'm just going to be like hyped for it. Like, he can do that for another year, and I'm still going to be excited the day it comes out.
Yep.
And I'm going to end up loving it. I just know it.
That would be a day one purchase.
Just like, I'm going to stay up till midnight, watch that thing hit on all my streaming apps that I have.
I mean, Cruel Summer was one that is like, when it came out, that was just something I was listening to all the time.
I had Cruel Summer memorized within a week because I played it so damn much.
I think we both did. It was just like we were hanging out so much at that time. Always hanging out, no matter what. We were driving, we're at the apartment somewhere. We're always listening to it because it was just like we were so hyped about it.
That was definitely the album of the summer, or one of them, because that one, along with the singles, of course, they all got heavily played.
And I think that was one of the first times we finally heard back from 2 Chainz, but as 2 Chainz, not as Titty Boy. So I mean, that was something huge hearing back from him. You're hearing Common on there. That was the first time we heard Mace in a long time. I mean, there's some features on there that you really blew us out of the water. But we're not going to talk about that album right now, guys, because we can go on for hours about that album, because that album is another instant classic. We are going to talk right now about the College Dropout by Kanye West. This is his freshman album. This was his debut album as a rapper. Now, I don't know if y'all know this, but he started recording this album in 1999.
Insane.
And it did not drop until 2004.
Didn't he continue it in the hospital?
Yeah, he actually
recorded through the wire. Wired shut.
While in the hospital, he requested his equipment so he can keep writing this album. It's fucking nuts, man. This dude.
Level of dedication is certainly unmatched.
And he speaks about his rise to becoming a rapper. In the last track of this album called Last Call, where he's starts off with Hove talking shit, and then he goes and spits his stuff, and then he talks about how so many people slept on him and passed him up, and then
they only wanted him as a producer and not a rapper.
And so when we talk Kanye West, we don't even talk Kanye West the rapper. You have to talk Kanye West the rapper, Kanye West the producer, Kanye West the artist. You have to speak about him as a whole. You can't
director.
Just exactly. And then when you look at this, he's credited himself as a co-producer on this album, but you look at it and you've got people like Jay-Z, Dame Dash, hip hop. I mean, those are the people
hip hop
that made this album come true, and to have those as your executive producers or executive producers on your freshman album
says a lot.
That's through the roof, So this came out February 10th of 2004. What were y'all doing in 2004, guys?
2004.
I can't even tell you.
That was freshman year for us, wasn't it?
04. I was like in 8th grade.
I was still jamming Linkin Park, System of a Down.
I think 7th grade in 2004.
I hadn't yet discovered hip hop.
So from listening,
when did
I
you go to
moved in 06 because 07 is when we started high school, 06 when we started high school. Yeah, we were in 7th grade.
So when you first heard College Dropout, what was the first track you remember hearing from this?
For me personally, it was Through the Wire. I just remember getting ready for school. I used to ride the bus, and I would be there in the living room getting ready with the TV on. They used to show music videos on MTV.
At one point in time, they really did that, guys.
Believe it or not.
Music television actually had,
to stay up till 3 in the morning.
Yeah, it's not like. Luckily, we still have YouTube music videos and things like that. But I remember seeing the video for Through the Wire and just seeing the way that video was made, just with all the different video transitions and everything, that always kind of caught my eye. And of course, the song itself was just incredible. So that was one of the first CDs that I can remember purchasing with my own money. So this one means a lot to me, just thinking about it from my personal experience with it.
And Dilla, do you remember the first track you heard off of this?
All Falls Down. That song in that
right?
video, Stacey Dash, she was amazing in that video.
Beautiful Stacey Dash.
I remember, seeing that video, the song, and like you said, the way he makes his videos, it's different, and I fell in love with it.
That's the one where he puts himself into the the luggage check and the X-ray thing, and you see the plate in his jaw.
Yep.
Man, I remember
Amazing.
that.
I mean, All Falls Down. That was the first track I heard, and I went and copped the album. When I heard the album, I was amazed. Kanye West, like, who's this guy? You know what I mean? And I heard the features, I heard his lyrics. It's simple, but man, it's the way he puts it all together. It's crazy, And I heard that album, and from then, I was hooked. That was it.
Rudy, what was the first time you heard College Dropout?
First song was Jesus Walks, and it was, again, like Eric said, it was playing on MTV. Seeing the music video and seeing all that was the first song I heard, and then it was also played on the radio so much. I mean,
we actually discovered music on MTV at one point in time, guys. Like this,
it was one of those things like where on the radio, if it wasn't being played there, it was being played on MTV.
It's hard to believe, but MTV used to play music.
Yeah, it wasn't all reality shows at one point.
Well, you know what? Actually, they brought TRL back, so I guess we can't.
Yeah, but is it really the same?
Nothing's
the same without Carson Daly.
I haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
Yeah, but Jesus Walks. Jesus Walks was the first song I heard off that album.
Charles, do you remember the first song you heard off of College Dropout?
Oh, it was definitely Jesus Walks. At the time, like I said, I had just discovered drumming to hip hop, and then it started with like the newer Kanye, like Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, which transitioned into other stuff. And when people say he was like controversial in that album, and I started listening to a lot of others, and I was like, well, let me look at his top singles from his older albums. That's when I started transitioning. And one of the verses in there that he raps about, where he says, they say you can rap about anything except for Jesus, and they go, that means gun, sex, lies, and videotape, but if I talk about God, my record won't get played. And I was like, he was controversial before that, but in a way that made him, passionate about his own music. And it wasn't so much controversy as him just being Kanye and just really into his music and just gonna do it regardless whether or not people liked it or not.
Yes.
And that's what I liked about him that stood out is because he could take the criticism, and to him every judgmental criticism was constructive criticism.
And when you say controversial lines, I mean this album, even his freshman album, is filled with controversial lines. Was in Last Call, he says, pulled out my the lady asked if that's a Black American Express, and he said, we responded,
I prefer African American Express.
Yeah, African American Express. Don't get mad at me quoting it wrong, but my first song that I heard off of this album was exactly the way y'all found it. Was on MTV in the morning getting ready for school, but I heard Slow Jams the first time.
Oh,
and that was the first time I heard Twista as well. And
remember trying to get your tongue tied, trying to just sing.
To this day, I can go from lyric to lyric to lyric on this song, Slow Jams, but when Twistas comes on, I'm still just
really just have no chance.
Yeah, you can't do it,
Yeah, tongue tied, man. It's too. I don't know how he does it.
No chance.
I remember I was a freshman, and I would take the bus to school. I was getting ready. I heard it, and I wrote the name down, and I wrote down Kanye West. And I had a buddy who would burn CDs and stuff like that. Mom still wasn't into me listening to hip hop yet, so right. I had to get stuff the way I had to get stuff. And so I went to a buddy at school, and I gave him this paper, and I said, "Hey, dude, look up this guy Kanye West." And he goes,
"That's how I said it when I first heard it."
And he goes, "Kanye West." He goes, "I'll look it up, see what I can find." And I said, "Okay, whatever songs you can find by Kanye West, I want." And the first 3 songs he found were "Through the Wire," "Slow Jams," and "Jesus Walks." And those are the first. I had one CD that was like a 90-minute long CD
Wow.
with
Damn.
3 tracks on it. Mind you, this album is 76 minutes long.
Yeah, it's a very long
Like,
one.
that CD could have fit the entire album on there, but those are the only 3 singles he had out at the time. So, well, I believe he had All Falls Down as well
4
out.
singles. Wow, 4
But
singles
those
were
are the
out.
3 that my buddy found and was put on a CD for me. So I bumped those 3 tracks consecutively on and on and on and on again until that CD got scratched and I couldn't listen to it no more. And so
you're showing our age
Man.
again by
I
you
feel
know,
like
buying CDs.
his name was actually spelled Kane when it first came out. That's why I pronounced it like that. I don't think the Y was in there, honestly.
well, see, you know, you look back on it, and it might have been, you know,
Yeah, that's true.
and it might have not been. And then me being a wrestling fan, always have been. I see that word, and I'm
That's
like,
true.
that's Kane, you
You
know.
see it quick and make the snap connection
Yeah,
that it's going to be Kanye
Kane
West.
West, and he even references that on some songs, you know.
That's true.
Um,
That's true.
And that's that. So now we talked about the first song we heard off of College Dropout. Eric, what is your favorite track off of College Dropout?
My favorite track is going to be Family Business. I know that might not be a really popular answer, but that song, every time I hear it, I hear what he's saying, and I see it in my mind. I take out what he's saying and replace it with my own personal experiences growing up. And that song, it's just another special one for me. In that case, I just always think of my family.
That's a great track.
Yeah, it's a classic one. There's no song on this CD that you could skip and not feel bad about it.
That's true.
Absolutely. And look, favorite track off of College Dropout?
The spaceships.
Yes, absolutely.
Bang.
I always felt, it's almost my reason for rapping. I've never pictured myself working a normal job my whole life, listening
Conversations
to some,
we have all the time.
what I
You
mean?
can't do it.
I never pictured myself doing that, and when I heard that song, I felt like I could relate to that a lot, and I fell in love with that track itself. Spaceship's my favorite.
Rudy?
I would have to go with Through the Wire. Just knowing that, he did that whole track, like you said, read it all out in the hospital and then spits it with
His mouth
his
wired.
mouth wired shut. It's crazy.
And you
that
can
somebody
hear
could-
it.
And it's like it's one of those things where it's like it's a Kanye legend right there. It's like, who else is gonna do that? Nobody else is gonna to make a whole song with his wire.
I mean, and you can actually tell the
You- yeah,
difference,
you can tell.
the delivery and vocals and whatnot. You can tell it's a
You
huge
can hear the
difference.
built-up spit inside the lyrics.
Yeah, you can, and you
can
can tell
hear
he has to suck it. He has to suck it back a little bit. It just that song, like what he does and how he does it. That's why it's my favorite song.
And I think a couple of lines off that track really, reached out to us Texas folks, because Texas is known for that dirty oil.
Yes, sir.
He said, "Somebody order pancakes, I'll just sip the scissor."
Yes, sir.
That was all day. That was everybody in Texas. Raised that double cup and listened to it. Charles, favorite track?
Never Let Me Down.
Okay.
That was, I feel like that was kind of the intro to, Yeezy and,
Makes sense.
HOV. Just kind of like, if you read the lyrics, you kind of just see how they're like, this is where we start together, and this is how we're just gonna keep going. And I don't know, that was always kind of influential for me. It's not one of the hits off the album. It's probably not the best song on the album to most
Yeah.
people. It's probably not even their best verses, but to me, it's just kind of where they started their little companionship.
That's the start of Watch the Throne right there.
That is right there. That's
Exactly,
where
exactly.
I'll bump Watch the Throne to the day I die. Like that
Absolutely.
album for me is definitely, I have a lot of albums up there as far as every genre, but as every genre, that album is definitely top 10.
Absolutely. So, in Never Let Me Down, that song, when you think it's over, it's not over.
Ooh.
And they let you know it's not over. And I think that's one of the best things about Jay-Z and Kanye West working together. Now, my favorite track off of the College Dropout has to be Get 'Em High with Talib Kweli and Common. Like, that is,
Crazy features right there.
my top 2 definitely I have to go with Ant on Spaceships, but Get 'Em High is up there. Those are 2 hip hop features. That is it. And like we spoke last week, when you think hip hop, Common's one of those names that just comes up. Common is hip hop, and when you put hip hop on a track with hip hop, what do you got? You got some hip hop. Now I'm gonna second what Eric said and say that there's not a track on this album that you can skip without feeling bad about. But I know there's always the least favorite track on an album. Eric, what is your least favorite track on this album?
Man, that's a really tough one for me, but I think if I had to say I had a least favorite, it might have to be it's really tough. I guess it would have to be like one of the intros or one of the skits because it's not a real song, but even then I really enjoy those. All of them they were needed.
Yeah.
They were needed breaks in the album. But
And see, that was back when albums had the skits.
Had
You think about
intermissions.
D12 and stuff like that.
True.
D12 had those skits in every one of their
I
albums and
think
stuff
D12
like that.
actually dropped the album in 2004 as well.
Yeah, probably D12 World, I believe.
I think so.
And least favorite track off
Least
the album.
favorite. Like I said, that's a tough one. If I have to choose one, Breathe In, Breathe Out. I liked it, but it was kind of different from all the rest of the tracks on the album to me, and so that's why I would choose that one.
Gotcha. Rudy, least favorite track off the album?
I don't know, man.
Shout out Luda though.
yeah.
I do not know on that one. That's a tough one to decipher off of who I wanted. If I want to take a song out of there or not. If I would skip a song on there. And I'm gonna go with School Spirit because in between School Spirit's in between two skits. There's a skit one and there's a
That
skit two.
Alpha Step, Omega
On top
Step.
of that, there's another skit.
Step, Sigma step.
So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna skip School Spirit just because I would skip all those skits.
Those three in the row.
Yeah.
So it's just a tough one right there.
Charles, least favorite track off the album?
I'm gonna have to go with the new workout plan. I mean, okay, the longest song on that album, if you're looking at it right, is Last Call. It's 12 minutes. I mean, just from there. And then the second two after that is, of course, Never Let Me Down at 5:24 for the time. And then 2 seconds below that is New Workout Plan. For some reason, I feel like it didn't live up to the hype of the length that it went to.
That's
and
understandable.
I just can't, I'll listen to it maybe a little bit and I'm like, nah, I'll skip it.
I was thinking about saying that one, but I really like the music
Yeah.
in that song. The words, the lyrics are great also, but that one I kind of agree with you. It gets kind of
Boring.
skippable
Yeah.
after a while.
Like I'll
so-
jam it for a little bit, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, because right after that you got Get 'Em High. I mean, I'm anticipating it, and then I just want to just go.
I just like
go
listening to the
it.
beginning of New Workout
What's up,
Plan.
girl?
I listen to the beginning. The beginning part of it is good. I can agree with that. Yeah.
I got to go with Charles on this one. That's the New Workout Plan is my least favorite track off the album. Do I want to skip it? No. Will I if I have to? No. That's
just what it is.
It's just you have your favorites, you have your least, and that's that. So, but when you think about this album as a whole, that's what it is. It is an amazing album as a whole, with the features from, like I said, from staples in hip hop, from Talib Kweli. You got Consequence, Jay-Z, Common, Luda, Mos Def, Freeway. You got everybody who solidifies hip hop
On a
in this
freshman
album. On your
Yeah,
freshman album.
4 singles on who has 4 singles now on any album?
Not even.
I think
Not
it's-
even.
That's insane. Not even. So you get lucky
At the
to get
most,
2
one or
maybe.
I was gonna say
The
anybody
only
that
person
too.
who can
Exactly.
do that right now is The Weeknd, but he's on a whole nother platform
true.
of music, and that's like I said. You got your R&B, hip hop, and then you got your dark R&B, which is I think The Weeknd is. We'll talk about that later.
I'm waiting
Absolutely.
for Gucci's next single though. Just saying.
We're all waiting for Gucci.
Now,
I know the album's coming out next week, but I'm ready for another single. I can use another one.
right? So, this album, like I said, as a whole is great. Anything that you would change about this album if you had to? Any of y'all?
Less skits.
Yeah,
Less
probably-
skits?
Let's skits, yeah.
Probably less skits, but again, this wasn't a time where albums had
Yeah.
a lot of skits.
They had a lot of interludes in between and
So
stuff.
as of right now, less skits. Back then, I don't know what you could do about it.
That's true.
I mean, if you think about it, if you listen to a lot of metal from that end, they had a lot of
interludes and
interludes
things
of like
also.
slow songs.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of slow jams here, maybe a piano interlude here.
Yep.
And you can't really knock it. So at the time for 2004, I mean, it fit right in. But if I were to go back like now, like y'all said, and do it, it'd get rid of the.
It's
skits.
definitely not able to. Nothing you can ride to with the skits there. You gotta
No,
definitely.
like say if you're in a traffic jam and you got that CD in and you can't skip anything and you come across a skit. Say after School Spirit, you got 2 skits and you can't skip that. you're just listening to someone talk the whole time.
You're kind of bummed out about it.
Yeah, like I can listen to people talk. I mean, I don't mind that, but it has to be something about something I'm interested in. I can listen to sports talk all the time,
All day.
sports radio, whatever. But just a skit like that, no. I mean, it's something that I would personally have to cut off, just because. I mean, it's not what I want to listen to.
No one wants to sit in a traffic jam and listen to skits.
Yeah.
Those are in a traffic jam. The skits are getting skipped
Absolutely.
100% of the time.
Like 5 o'clock traffic. When I'm getting out of work, I'm in 5. I don't want to listen to skits. I don't want to listen to anybody talk.
I still feel like I'm at work.
I don't even like listening to commercials on the radio. If I listen to the radio,
Exactly.
I will go to a different station. If that has a commercial, I'm skipping again until I find something that doesn't have a commercial. I mean, even if it's the Tejana music,
Find something temporary.
Yeah, something temporary.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, is that
Just to
commercial
get
over?
by.
But at the same time, just thinking, bilaterally, when I'm introducing this album to someone, I'm gonna tell them not to skip this skit.
Oh,
Yeah,
Because
you gotta listen
really,
to it.
it really makes the album. I mean, it's like a minute intro to one of the next songs. Like New Workout Plan, like I said, I'd skip it, but the intro to New Workout.
Shout out Bernie Mac too. Rest in peace, Bernie
Yeah,
Mac. Man.
Absolutely.
Definitely some
that
of
album
the
something
comedic
great.
relief.
Yeah.
So, breaking news: Eminem, his album is complete.
Wow.
This
man.
is coming from Hip Hop Early. It's where I get all my my information from. Hip Hop Early has just posted a few minutes ago to us right now that Mr. Porter, who has been with Eminem since his first album, said in a video posted by Eminem, "No, we're done." How about that?
Wow.
And they said that it has a 2 Chainz feature track, and that's all they were saying. Produced with Dr. Dre, help make it, and that's all we're getting from.
I'm surprised about the 2 Chainz feature. I don't think I've ever heard an Eminem song with 2 Chainz.
No,
I could be wrong about that. Somewhere, maybe in the internet somewhere, there's some kind of.
Maybe he's making that transition now. I don't know. Be weird. I mean, but you do kind of have to evolve at some point.
You do.
You can't stick to your guns a lot, and I feel like if he wants to, I mean, if he in his mind wants to stay relevant with what he's writing,
And these features with
I mean, if you
artists
want
that
to
people are
that are
listening
here
to.
still,
If you want a single, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to
That's
have
true.
you're gonna have to have a feature from the top
Somebody.
guys. So say Gucci, 2 Chainz, I mean Future, Quavo. You're gonna have a feature from somebody that's
The younger generation.
the one you see him on the radio, you hear him on the radio all the time. You're gonna have to have a feature for them if you want a single.
Man, you know what will be a good feature on that album? The Weeknd. Put The Weeknd with Eminem.
I think it's gonna happen. I have this speculation that it's gonna happen
some
because
kind of like dark melodic.
because you hear it in his tone of his rapping tone. It's just,
like an Eminem rap, a Weekend hook.
Yeah, Weeknd.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the way their music runs, R&B and rap, they run parallel with the melodic tone that they set with each other. Their lyrics, they're under a lot of that stuff. Eminem's a little bit more dark rap as opposed to like Weeknd being a little bit more dark R&B.
I would want to see like a Metro Boomin beat.
no.
Eminem versus
With
with the
the
Weeknd
Weeknd
feature.
hook.
The Weeknd hook.
Wow.
Back to 2004 real quick. He actually dropped Encore in 2004. Eminem. That was a good album.
That was a lot.
Really good album. Really good album. All right, so we're gonna get this week's episode wrapped up, but not before we pick next week's album. So right now I'm gonna choose at random with this app I downloaded on my phone. I'm not gonna give a shout out to it because it's a pretty shitty app. But I got the names in there. I got Charles, Eric, Pooh, myself, and Ant in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit this choose button. It's gonna tell me who it is, and y'all are gonna give us an artist to listen to, album.
If it's me though, if I get a double, I'm not picking though. We gotta get somebody else.
All right. So you know what?
Fair enough.
I'm gonna cut Eric out of it. You got 4 names in the hat right now. We're gonna go ahead and pick and choose. Be ready, guys. The lucky winner is me. It says it right here. You want to see it? It says Rex. It is me.
Well, I can't read, so
What's the app? That's what I tried looking at.
I mean, I can't read, so I can't.
All right. So I think I'm gonna have to go with as an album. Jesus Piece by The Game, since it's something I talked about
We'll
earlier.
talk about it right now.
Damn, I'm hyped. That was one of my favorite ones to drum to too.
So it's definitely going to pick Jesus Piece. And then I'm going to keep it local with hip-hop artists. And I'm going to go with Carmine. I'm going to listen to some Carmine. I'm going to get that on there. I'm going to actually reach out to him here in a little bit.
Tweet at him right now.
A good buddy of mine, I see him at the art walks and shit. Both him and I are drunk, and he's like, Yo, Bill, I got music in your.
Carmine's been working
He's
for
like,
a long time. So.
I got music in your inbox, dog, and I'm like, all right, I got you. Hooked up with Manny Fresh and did a lot of good stuff. So, we'll be waiting for that next week, folks. For the rest of the Nights Around Record cast, Aunt Illa, thank you for joining us today.
I appreciate y'all having me. Thank you. That was a lot of fun. Hope to do it again real soon.
All right, so we're gonna check out right now. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, follow. I don't know where the fuck y'all are listening to this to, but if it's on YouTube, subscribe, like us, get it shared out there. If you're on SoundCloud, follow us, like it, get it out there. Remember, Aunt Illa is on SoundCloud, Aunt Illa EGM. He's got different videos on YouTube with his features. Search Aunt Illa. Thanks again for having us, for being with us today. For the rest of the nights, y'all have a good one, guys. Thank y'all.